Hi guys. I hope you now realize that it's not an actual battle, it's a balance. So today I thought that I would go through some biology with you. Um, it seems that things have been a little bit muddled throughout history, and biology, bio being life, and ology, the study of, so biology, the study of life. There's a very interesting scientist I came across, Jeremy Griffin, and he wrote a book called Freedom. He's a very passionate character, and I trust him because of the way he builds furniture. You don't need any nails, it's all just pins. So it's a very simple way to look at things without overcomplicating it, thinking that we need to be scientists to actually understand who we are. So, starting with Freedom, his book, and human biology, he talks about how because we're trying to do things, we're starting to feel alienated. And what does he call it? The human condition. And all of this can be found online, so please just Google it, Freedom. And the human condition is about us, because we want to go and do and explore these things, we feel very ashamed and, shut down because we can't go and do them. And what this has done is it's made society shut its heart down and just really go head centered, like, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. So now that we're looking at just us as human biology, if you look out into the biodiversity that extends us, you'll see that we're actually a reflection of that. And it's quite strange to me personally to think that why would we consider ourselves as the only species on this planet that is completely monogamous, or that there is, I don't like to call it good or evil, there's no such thing, it's just light and dark matter, and it's about balancing those traits within yourselves. Tomorrow is the official invite for the party, and I hope that you like the dress code, but we'll get into that tomorrow. Today I'm going to talk more about, okay, so they say that we come from the monkeys or the apes as our closest primate relatives. There's only one subspecies of those that is known to be monogamous, which is rare. So if those animals per se are not monogamous, what would say that we are? So I find that a lot of people struggle with relationships because some people are monogamous, it's true, and like birds are, and it's fine, but some people are not. And so when we're in relationships and partnerships that we choose because it's just the norm or it's the way society does things, it's not exactly what your biology says. So when you're looking at your biology and your makeup, let's go to some birds. So birds are actually born, males are quite colourful and the females are not, and it's the male who has to attract the female. In our cases, all our colour and all our flair, if you strip us down, it's kind of, we're all the same, so it's quite hard to differentiate the difference. But sorry, but what actually happens is we have segregated ourselves from this idea that they're so different to us when they're not. So birds can be monogamous, they can be seen, with other partners. It's actually quite funny when you do the research on birds, you will realize that monogamy is it's a sub thing within a species. It doesn't actually entail the entire species, and I think that's the biggest trigger for people these days, is about like mine and this and that. And it's cool, like I say, there are loads of different ways to work around these relationships, but when you're looking at birds and the way we actually pick mates, it just shows you. There's a book, and I couldn't find it, called The Red Queen, basically where it's all in like the length of the tail. Sound familiar? And a female will basically pick her choice on the length of the tail, and when they do their little flights and like little flicks and everything, it's all about the length of the tail. So when we're looking at how superficial we actually are. Some other birds actually, they go ahead and they build the nest and they do and they help with the babies, and then there's other birds that just fly off. And then there's like female birds that like sit, they make their little thing, and loads of different males come into her little cave, and it's fine. And if you actually go back 2000, pre 2000 years, every solstice we used to have fertility parties, and it wasn't a thing that it was like everybody, let's go. I'm not trying to say let's all have an orgy, but don't get me wrong, but I want you to understand your biology and how we have been preconditioned to think based on accumulation. So if I marry you and you marry me, our families become stronger and more powerful. So the prince didn't love the princess, they had to get married. It wasn't a choice, it was like unite the kingdoms. So our relationships aren't actually based on biology, they're based on economy and conquer. So if we want to start to break down these misconceptions of who we are and how we gauge in relationships, we need to look that within the biodiversity around us and the subspecies within that, and even let's go to plants. You don't want to talk so much about the animals. I discussed plants, but you've got male and female plants. Marijuana plants, for example, the male just grows straight up and wants to shoot his seeds. Fair cool. The female's so busy trying to catch his seeds that she actually doesn't produce any strong smoking bud. So they say, kill the male. I'm not getting all feminist on you, but you know what I mean. Like, there are plants that work together. There is so many different ways for the biology of us that we are being torn away from that, and that's why we're feeling so angry and alienated and unaccepted within society. Like I said yesterday about the colours and the balance and the masculine and the feminine within oneself, once you start to understand that that is what makes you a whole person, you'll no longer project yourself onto others, and you'll be able to take ownership of your actions and be like, I can do this. I can go screw myself. Where's the power drill? And it's about breaking down these misconceptions that society has built on you, not what your biology and your evolution actually says. So a species will only evolve if it's pushed to the brink of its existence. We're kind of at that point in human history. And going back to what I like to call 28 days later, which is what it feels like, everybody's been bitten by mad cow disease. And do you know that a bull will only have the same cow once and then he wants to move on to another bull? Go figure that. All got mad cow disease. And, the grass is actually greener on the other side, but we're all stuck with, what do you think? I think what you think. Yes, I agree with you. And no one is actually digging a little bit deeper, going underneath this surface that we have been conditioned to think we need to do in order to be a person. It's not the exterior that we need to work on. It's looking at our biology and how biodiversity, i.e. you, and how all of us within that biodiverse system actually operate and work together. And going back to the monkeys, okay, I get where some of this 5 wives thing comes from. That's the monkeys. Like, if you do a bit of research and start to dig a little deeper, I have lots of totem animals. Obviously, one is a peacock mantis shrimp. We all need to understand that within our subspecies, we don't actually have to have the same chemistries to be accepted within a society. It's okay to be whoever you are and whatever you are, because that is the way we are designed to be different. If we were the same, life would be boring. Imagine a field of just one type of flower, or just, it would be impossible for biodiversity to exist if we don't understand our psychology and how, I would say, psychology is a bit of a Freud or fraud. You decide. But look out for tomorrow's invite. Have a good one. Please like, share, and pass this on.